Hello, welcome to All the Pies. My name's Si, that is Kev, and this is a review of today's destruction of Spurs 6-1. Don't even need to do a funny or any little anecdotes. It was fucking beautiful.
God, he scored so many goals.
Well,
Kevin?
Si, we scored so many goals.
We scored so many goals. So, you know what it is? You don't even need to get ready for this. We do it every week. Let's just get straight into this fucker.
Okay, let's go.
Straight in. No banter needed today.
Nah.
I'm shattered. I'm ill. My palpitations are still going. My back's killing. My neck's killing. I've got a splitting headache. Oh man, that was the best first half of football I've ever seen, either televised or live, in my entire life. And it just happened to be that we were there in the Leazes End to witness all 5 goals in 20 friggin' minutes. That was just that.
Exactly. I don't know how I'm going to get through this video because yeah, that feeling. Going in, we were saying, we can't be complacent.
Yeah.
A few nerves kicking in, and just why were we nervous? It was Tottenham Hotspur were playing.
Yeah.
Whose problems go from bad to worse. However, our problem wasn't even a problem. The small blip we had last week has been completely forgotten about with the perfect reaction.
Yeah, that was amazing. From the get-go, the atmosphere, we knew it was going to be bouncing, but it just was. It was, you could feel it. Everyone was up on their feet. Yeah, the atmosphere was there. You could feel it. They didn't even need to create it. It was just there. You could feel something was there. In the air, electric. And yeah. So anyway, team sheets came out. We saw them in the car on the way to the match. Exactly as I predicted in the last video. First time I've got a full lineup prediction right. I was so happy to see Longstaff back in, and I was so pleased that Miggy didn't start because I don't think he is fully fit. But I think it would have been Shan on Murphy, who wouldn't have deserved it. What your initial thoughts? Pretty much the same.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been disappointed if Miggy had started, but I wasn't disappointed that Murphy had started. I was like you say, he's probably earned his spot over the last few weeks. I looked at the team, and then when I looked at their team, with exceptions of Harry Kane and possibly Son, I thought it looked like a team that was going to beat the other when you saw them on paper, and that's exactly what was going to happen.
It did. Well, I'm going to have to refer to the chronicle here because I won't be able to remember everything that happened in the correct order without referring to it. So
yeah, I mean, well, I've had to watch the highlights a few times since I've gotten back because the delirium and the euphoria, in the adrenaline takes over.
I'm gonna watch the full match back after this. I'm going to take some codeine. And I might even take a sneaky valley and go and lie in bed with my headphones in and just watch it on repeat until I'd fall off into a beautiful land of Nod. So yeah, match kicked off. Noise, just mammoth noise. Noise had barely settled down. Loads of people hadn't even got to their seats yet. I think I was just sitting down. It takes me a while to sit down when I get my t-shirt to cover my fat ass crack and that. Just sitting myself down. And then Joe Linton's running down at the Spurs defence. Whacks a shot in. Lloris parries it down. This is minute 1. And then Jacob Murphy, not a great angle, not an easy tap in by any means. Just puts it away. 1-0, just sitting down. Everybody's fucking up.
Yeah, it was the start that dreams are made of. I mean, credit to Bruno Guimaraes as well for that goal. He picked it up in the middle, and he was the one that played the ball out to Joe Linton on the left. He actually slipped when he played the ball, but still ended up at Joelinton's feet. And he did something that I love to see when somebody's on the left-hand side, or the right-hand side for that case, and they decide to come inside, is get into the box, put the pressure on them defenders, because once you work your way into the box, then they will 9 times out of 10 start to back off, and that's how you can get that little bit of room. It's exactly what happened. And against they changed their defensive lineup to a back four today. Oh, what a big mistake! But yeah, the shot was a little bit tame. Lloris parried it, and yeah, Murphy the first to react. And you're right in what you're saying. It's not the easiest of tap-ins. It was a very acute angle, but you know he didn't sort of try and side foot it or just curl it in. He just put his laces through it and roof of the net. And yeah, dream start. Let the euphoria start.
Because it was at our end, the Leasers, I knew exactly who'd scored because I can make them all out at our end. I can tell who's at our end. Whereas top end, I can't tell you who scored most of the time. So I saw him and I saw his face straight away, like that, just running towards his stand. And I was like, yes, this is lovely.
He loves it. He loves it. He's becoming a little bit of a cult hero, isn't he?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah, and I just never saw this sort of season coming from Jacob Murphy. I don't think anybody did. Nope. And I think we can say now he has been Eddie Howard.
Oh, 100%.
He's been Eddie Howard.
100%. Well, just 2 minutes later, Murphy ran down again. He played in Isak, but Eric Dyer made a block. That was just like, I think that was 90 seconds afterwards. But then, so what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2.5 minutes later, Fabian Shaw, a ball over the top to Joelinton. Joelinton controlled it in the box, and then Joelinton of past wouldn't have known what to do with that. The Joelinton of a couple of years ago, but cool, calm Brazilian beaut just pops it away, and we are 2-0 up after 6 minutes, and again the place just erupts.
And it's got to be said, more shoddy defending by Tottenham. I mean, the back four were in a flat line, and all of them were ball watching. Not only were the ball watching, or just watching the ball go over them. Nobody picking up Joelinton. And his first touch was a beautiful touch, by the way, because he brought it down, which was a fantastic ball by Shaw. Like to pick him out and to execute it in such a what seemed like an effortless way. But yeah, the first touch was beautiful. Second touch knocked it round the keeper. Third touch, there was only going to be one result from the third touch, and yeah, dreamland again.
Dream sport.
Yeah, you're pinching yourself. You're wondering, is this real? And then there's always a moment of like, oh, I hope it's not offside. I hope they're not going to try and check it for anything. I must say, VAR, I don't think they got involved once today.
No, I don't think they did.
And it was just a beautiful game of football.
Well, I mean, they would have done, but there was no like decisions to be made where it was on the screen. There was no waiting for VAR decisions.
Yeah,
it was lovely. And then after that, we were still on our feet, and then everyone, the whole crowd, just burst in. And as we were in mid-song, this is like so. What was it? This is on 9 minutes. This is like 3 minutes later. As we were still on our feet in mid-song, we hadn't even taken our seats back yet. I think it doesn't say who it was. I'm sure it was Bruno that gave it to Murphy. And Murphy, 30 yards out, just went, fuck it. Let's see if I can score an absolute worldie, because I am Jacob fucking Murphy. And wow, he fucking does, lad.
Yeah, he thought I'm Jacob Murphy, and Jacob Murphy he was. Yeah. And I don't know if he'll ever score a better goal than that in terms of finishes, because it was a thing of beauty. I don't even think it hit the floor until it hit the side of the net. So Lloris flat-footed, and have you seen his reaction for the goal?
Yeah, so wide.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, Lloris just had to watch it go in. To be a Spurs fan, that's travelled all the way from London. 9 minutes in, watching Jacob Murphy put that third one in, must have been rather painful, I would imagine.
Well,
And
that was the only time I got my camera out, when it was 3-0, because I was like, this is just mental. I think there's a video of me and you. I'll put it in now. Fucking 3-0!
Tottenham Hotspur 0.
This was the only video that I really got. After that, I was just, my phone didn't even come into consideration, because it was just, I was thinking, what's going to happen next? And what happened next was, only a few minutes later again, Willock with what I must say was the assist of the season, the ball that Willock put through. Excuse me. Oh, put through an absolute belter into the run of Isak, just the curl on it, the side foot, the spin on everything, into the pass of Isak. Everyone knew exactly what was going to happen. We couldn't believe it, because it was so early on. I think it was like, what, 11, 12 minutes in? Couldn't believe it. And then, obviously, Isak does what Isak does, and it's fucking 4-0.
And yeah, I can't think of enough superlatives to describe that ball by Willock.
Joe Willock,
It was his first touch as well. It wasn't like he took a touch to control it and then had a look or anything like that. He read the game so well. He knew Isaac would have been up on that flat back four line. And just I mean, it's just a dream ball for any centre forward. And once Isaac gets on the end of it, there's only one place that ball's going. A crisp, tidy, dare I say, Henry-esque finish from Isak, and he's quickly becoming the man in front of goal that just it doesn't matter what chance falls to him. It's probably going in the back of the net.
Well, do you know, Isak started 10, scored 10.
Amazing. We've got a superstar on our hands, and I don't want to get too carried away, but he is he's going to be a Toon legend. He's going to be a Toon legend, and I can say that with confidence, because it's not just him putting the ball away. He looks like a top class player. He really, really does.
Today, so many of them did. I don't. The three that stood out for me, four that stood out for me was Murphy, Isak, Bruno, and Joe Linton. Joe Linton today was something else. He was just he has done for a long time, but he looked like an elite player,
because he is. That's exactly what he is.
Elite player, like top elite player, 100-odd million, elite, just ridiculous.
He is. He's an absolute beast. He's big. He's strong. He can play a pass. He holds people off. Barely gives the ball away. He makes runs forward. He scores goals. Like, how much do you pay for a player like that? You know, he believes in himself. The fans believe in him. The manager believes in him, and he isn't going to turn back to the old Joe Linton. No. Now, the old Joe Linton doesn't even exist anymore. This is just Joe Linton. This is who he is, and this is the player that he is. And he's going to play for the Toon for a good few years in that position, because I just don't know who could take that position off him.
No. And I don't think he'd want to go anywhere else.
No.
I don't think he'd want to be anywhere else. To be adored the way he's adored, I don't think he want to go. And I think Joe Willock as well. Joe Willock is going to be a Newcastle legend. I think he's going to stay with us for a long time. I think he's going to just become another elite player, Joe Willock. Like, I mean, like, really top player, not just English player, but top world player. Like, in a year or two, you talk about Declan Rice being valued at 120 million. I can see Willock getting up to that as well.
He had a fantastic game with his class snazzy new haircut.
His new haircut.
Aye, looked mint.
So happy,
I wish I could pull off a decent haircut, but I didn't.
Pull off any hair. But anyways, it was what was it? It was 16 minutes, and we were 4-0 up. And everyone where we sit was all cuddling. Everybody was cuddling everybody. People who would sit round would not normally embrace each other. Everybody was just arms and cuddles, and it was just like, I remember turning to you going, "What the fuck is going on? Like, what is happening? What's this is madness." And 2 minutes later, Sean Longstaff does a little backheel ball to Isak again, who makes it friggin' 5-0, 18 minutes in. Like,
Yeah, I mean, do you know what it is? Watching them back as
I thought I
well.
was going to have a heart attack. I thought I was going to have a heart attack.
You weren't the only one who thought you were going to have a heart attack, because I thought you were going to have a heart attack, and the lady in front of you thought you were going to have a heart attack as well. She had to tell you that she was like, take a breather, you know, are you all right? Because you just went a purple color, and I think your eyes just became glazed like that. You're like,
I didn't know what happened. It just took over us. I've never had that guttural response to football in my life, where I'm surprised I've still got a voice. Surprised my heart's still going. It's to be 5-0 after 80 minutes. I've never seen anything like it. Me and you,
Yeah.
Gaz was saying it must be the fastest Premier League to 5. Must be.
It's got to be. But I mean, yeah, the fifth goal was probably my favourite of them all, because it was a lovely, lovely, lovely piece of football. I think it was either Trippier or Shaw that was on the right hand side at the time, played the ball in field to Isak. Isak picked it up, played it back outside to Jacob Murphy. Jacob Murphy played it down the line, right into the path of Sean Longstaff. Sean Longstaff, cool as a cucumber, just rolls it back to Isak, and Isak did what Isak does. And it was just a lovely passage of play. And Tottenham and Hotspur were at 6s and 7s. And it wasn't even because they played bad. That type of football, that kind of move, is going to punish any team. Any team. It was just, I mean, the tails were up, the confidence was there. And what I really enjoyed about today as well is that we moved up and down the gears when we needed to. So we were giving ourselves little breathers. We were just controlling the game. We let them have the ball for a little bit without really being in any sort of danger. We'd knock it about the back four, and then once they've had a little breather, they'd go, right, let's knock it into the next gear, and then the next one, another wave of attack would come. And that is something that a top team does. And I've never seen a Newcastle United team sort of boss and dominate a team with such elegance, such authority, and just like I say, I've run out of superlatives to watch that type of performance up until the 20 odd minutes, and all the way throughout the half was just absolutely magical. And I can't believe I was there to see it.
That compares to it, football wise, to that first 20 minutes? There's nothing, is there?
Well, I mean, I remember being Dreamworld when we beat Man U 5-0. That was, but I was a lot younger then.
Yeah.
And I remember that feeling of euphoria and sort of pinching yourself.
That was a full match, so that was a full 90.
Real? Yeah, that first 20 minutes, it was, and I don't think I will experience that again.
No.
I hope I do. But that was just, it felt like that was us really putting a stamp on and showing the world and the rest of the Premier League, look, we're here to stay. You know, a lot of people saying, oh, well, after the 3-0, and I'm not talking about Newcastle fans, I'm talking about other fans and other so-called experts looking in who are saying, well, this could be the start of the capitulation. I still don't fancy them for the top 4. That was Newcastle saying, don't fancy you, do or not? Have a bit of this.
Yeah, so that was pretty much, that was 20 minutes. With the second 20 odd minutes, we don't even need to mention, we're pretty much slowed down. They made changes. Was it Sanchez? It says, yep, Saw was taken off and Sanchez was off.
Ironically, the guy that they booed off the pitch, we talked about this in the preview, the guy in the last game who they booed off the pitch, right, and booed every time he got the ball, right, had to come on to try and tighten it up and save them a little bit. So
but to be fair, he did. To be fair, he did slow the game down. It did.
Yeah, not as many boos coming this time when he got the ball. So yeah, sometimes you need to sort of remember that the players that you're booing, you might need them eventually.
Yeah. So, but it pretty much continued one-way traffic. They got into it a little bit, but I don't think they had a shot on target the first half.
Kane had a couple of half chances. He put a couple wide, and he was the only one that was really showing any sort of sense of danger.
He's the only one who turned up today, wasn't he, Harry Kane?
I think he's the only one. Yeah, he's the only one that can walk away from that Tottenham team with any kind of sort of you know, he did look at danger occasionally when he got the ball. He did try and drop back a bit, but you can't be a one-man team, can you?
Yeah. Well, then it was half time, and I went down into the bar area, lobby area, whatever you want to call it, and everyone was just like smiling. Everybody was just looking at each other, all of each other, going, "What the fuck? What is going on?" Like, it was just an amazing atmosphere to be part of. And I got myself a drink, and I hid it up my sleeve because I thought I'm not missing any of this game. I knew the queues were going to be large. I thought I'm not missing a minute of this game. I mean, the second half obviously was never going to live up to the first half, but I thought I'm still not. I'm going to be there for every second, every minute of on pitch activity today. So got back, and then the change was that Lloris was taken off. And Fraser Foster was brought on. It sounds like a bust up, doesn't it?
It does sound like a bust up, doesn't it? I mean, I can imagine there was some probably some home truths being told
To the manager,
being told. Well, it probably amongst
Everybody.
everybody. And Hugo Lloris is the captain, so you would imagine he's the one that's vocalising this. Now, I can't imagine it'll be a case where he's refusing to come out, but it's a strange old decision, doesn't it? And what to the likes of the fans and, you know, anybody else sort of looking outside, to that sort of decision, it screams out that there's been a little bit of a bust up, because the Tottenham players came out early for the start of the second half.
Very early.
So there's been some hairdryer treatment going around, and yeah, it's. I mean, listen, I talked about this, and let's talk about Tottenham for a little bit before we get into the second half, because we mentioned it and we talked about it, and I said, look, it's a case that, you know, the fans are blaming the players are blaming each other, the managers are blaming the players, the board's blaming the manager, the fans are blaming the board, and we said, you know,
in turmoil.
The wheels have completely fallen off, Si. And you notice, I do actually feel bad for the Tottenham fans that went up there today. And to be fair, in the second half, they did make a bit of noise, and they did, you know, they sort of did continue to support
the ones that
team.
stayed.
The ones that stayed, yeah, and good on them, because we know going away and getting stuffed has been something that we've had to do over the years. And when you see fans sort of in the face of adversity coming out chanting and still backing them, good on them. I mean, they've got a bit of stick from the Newcastle fans, as you're always going to, but I feel heartily sorry for them, because that was the crescendo, the accumulation of everything that we're talking about on the last video. Everybody moving in opposite directions. Eventually, something's got to give, and that's what happened today.
Yeah. So second half, it was very early in the second half. 3 minutes in, Harry Kane basically done it by himself. He took it past Shaw. Shaw seemed to have a little slip. There was lots of slips going on today. I noticed quite a few slips and tumbles today. And then Harry Kane, it was a good finish. Nothing Pope could have done. It was a good finish. Nothing Shaw could have really done, apart from proper take him out. He was just doing what an elite forward does, and does what Harry Kane does, and scored to make it 5-1.
And look, exactly.
Murmurings of comebacks, which were just laughable by some people.
Well,
I heard people saying it.
You can't be. I don't think you can begrudge Harry Kane that goal neither, because, like I say, he was probably the one player for them that had a bit of fight in him and was trying to sort of turn it around. Fabian Shaw could have possibly done better, put like a sort of, you know, he didn't know which way to go. Shaw, he got caught a little bit flat-footed, kind of half put a foot out. I'm just pleased he didn't pull him down or anything like that, because what we didn't want is any sort of needless cards or anything like that. But yeah. Tidy finish from Harry Kane across the keeper, and like you say, Harry Kane doing what he does. And I worry about Tottenham Hotspur next season if he goes, because he's got less than a year on his contract now.
He will go.
He's not really showing any signs that he wants to renew it. I think he's probably Manchester United bound. But I'll tell you what, take him out of that team, and I don't know.
They'll finish below Chelsea, like where Chelsea are this year. They'll finish in the bottom half of the table.
Well, look, something needs to change. Something needs to change, because if they lose Harry Kane, and they go through this going from manager to manager. They need to find somebody who can go in there and coach these players,
That's definitely what they need.
the
Definitely
way
what
that
they need.
Mikel Arteta has done at Arsenal, the way that what do you call him, the Brighton
Villa,
manager, the way that thing he's done at Villa, the
and the way that
Brighton
Eddie Howe
manager,
does.
the way
Yeah,
that Eddie Howe's done. They need a coach,
yeah,
not somebody to come in and manage, somebody to coach these
yeah.
players and how to play alongside each other. And yeah, it's if they don't get that, it could be a very long season for them again next
Well,
year.
it will be, because Levy's not going to spend. He may put some of the Harry Kane money back in, but I can't see him breaking the bank. And what the value and what they're trying to sell Spurs for, 3 billion. He's a fucking crease, isn't he, Levy?
I'm
Proper
sure there's a queue round the block of people
for
dying
Spurs.
to buy Spurs for 3 billion. Yeah,
Fucking
there's
mental.
I'm sure they'll have loads of takers.
Yeah,
No, but listen, it sounds like we're mocking a bit. As I suppose we are having a little bit of fun with it. Look, we've just won 6-1.
of course, we've just
But
smashed them.
in all seriousness, like I mean, he has another thing as well. He's got less than a year on his contract. That's going to take what Harry Kane is worth down a bit as well, isn't it?
And his
Because
age, what's he now? 29, 30?
yeah, he's not a spring chicken anymore.
No.
Still a fantastic player, and he's still got a lot of really good seasons ahead of him. But I don't think you're getting 100 million for Harry Kane. Like,
No.
no, not with a year left on his contract. I think
Not at
you're
that
probably,
age.
I think
No
you're probably
resale
looking at
value.
about 60, 65 million.
Yeah. Well, anyway, then we'll finish off the rest of the match, because, like I say, it was a lot slower the second half. Probably a good thing for my taker. After that goal, Perisic had a shot, went over the bar. Longstaff should have probably had one. What was that? What up to? There was that much going on.
Yeah, well, then Anthony Gordon came on as well,
Andy
didn't
Gordon
he?
came on. I was going to get to the subs, yeah. So Gordon came on. Who else came on then?
Wilson.
Well, that was after.
No, I'm sure.
Miggy and Wilson came on
Oh,
after.
Miggy
There was
Wilson.
subs before that. It was Gordon and Mankio for Trippier.
Thank you for Trippier.
And then the Cells came on for, was it Shaw?
Yeah, it was for sure.
He got
Yeah,
a
he
knock.
got a bit of a knock, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go through a couple of those substitutions, because there's a couple in there I want to mention. I mean, Mankio, yeah, you know what I mean. He come on and he made a couple of tackles, just filled in that role very nicely. It was job done at that stage. But I thought Anthony Gordon looked really good when he came on. I thought he looked really good. And there's something about Anthony Gordon, even when we played when we're backs have been against the wall a little bit, doesn't seem to give the ball away, like, ever.
Yeah.
Never ever seems to give the ball away. And I haven't seen the replay back of his chance. But look, to me, from out where we were sitting,
yeah, you can't see too far.
A very good chance of getting his first goal for Newcastle United, which would have been a lovely
Because
cherry.
it looked like from our angle that Wilson cleared off the line, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, our eyes aren't the best. It looked to me like it was going in, and then Wilson tried to sort of tap it in and put over the bar, but I could be completely wrong on that.
It must have been because we got given a corner, so it was obviously one of their defenders, or Foster got it off the line, because it looked at us off the line. But again, we could be wrong. We said bang, and the leaders and the goals right down that end, so it's hard to see angles and see what's going on. We'll have to watch that again later. Yeah, but Wilson and Miggy came on. Murphy and Isak, two were best players, going off. And a few minutes later, the two subs linked up together, with Almiron running at the Spurs defense. He gave a pass, but it had like a little slight bounce on it. Went straight to Callum Wilson, close range. Callum Wilson does what Callum Wilson does, puts it away. I was going to say makes the game over. The game was over after 20 minutes. Puts it away, makes it 6-1 on the 67th minute. And then then the subs were when Howe probably started to rest players, with Trippier coming off and Bruno coming off for Gordon, Trippier for Mankio. Yeah.
I
mean, that was the match. Let's just talk about the players.
Yeah, I mean, the talking about the substitutions there, the Midas touch continues with Eddie Howe. Just when
Yeah.
it wasn't stale by any by any margin, but he brings on two substitutes and they link up for a goal instantly,
Yeah,
instantly,
it was.
and it's just a thing of beauty to see. Now let's do a bit of a player rating. Pope 10, Botman 10,
If you're going to do
Shaw
that, yeah.
10, Trippier 11.
Yeah, it was
Dan
ridiculous.
Burn, 10.
It was ridiculous.
Bruno Guimaraes, 15.
Dan Burn coming on, not getting a lot of sticks saying should he be replaced. I think he had an absolute blinder today.
Played well. Played well. I think they try to sort of look at him as an area that they can maybe get at a little bit. When they did try to bring anything, they were trying to do down their right, our left.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he just saw everything out.
He did.
Got forward, lovely passing. Coming from, I want to say criticism. It's not criticism. It's constructive criticism, isn't it? And he hadn't had the best of games the last few games,
Yeah.
and you're allowed to talk about that. You are allowed to talk about that. But he's reacted in the best way possible by having an amazing game.
I had a blinder. Yeah.
Nobody had a bad game. Not one
Nah.
person had a bad game. In fact,
Botman
everybody had a very good game.
Botman looked back on the form he's been in all season.
Aye, he did. And there was a couple of times in the second half that they did get a little spell of pressure. I know Son tickled the hands of Pope towards the end as well.
Mhm.
But all the defenses just kept the head, and they just, even when they had the odd wave of attack, just saw it out, and
Yeah.
it was never really in question. So with defense looked, I mean, and because I was a bit worried when we did concede 3 against Aston Villa, I've got to be honest, I was a little bit worried, and I was like, oh, I hope that wasn't just the purple patch, and I was wrong. I was completely wrong. We're back to the best again, and Trippier, just fantastic today, absolutely fantastic.
Longstaff, I think Longstaff showing everyone why he was needed against Villa, why he's undroppable, why that team at the minute, certain players are just undroppable. Longstaff being one, Bruno obviously, but Joe Linton, I can't say enough about Joe Linton today. It was magical watching Joe Linton. I felt like I was watching a superstar, like an absolute superstar.
Yeah, and yeah, just everything that I ever wanted throughout the Ashley years, it just came so quickly. Right.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit emotional about it.
But it's like today was just it was just like I didn't think these days were coming back to Newcastle United again. And I had been beaten into submission through that regime of Mike Ashley, of selling my best players, and I'm not caring and just happy with mediocrity. And it nearly did beat us into submission. We stuck with it. We kept going. But I can fully understand why the fans that stopped going and didn't go anymore did that, because I was very close to that myself. And today was a day where I thought to myself, do you know what it is? I'm not even going to think about that anymore. Those days are gone. This is who we are now. This is our identity. This is the team that we are. You motherfuckers and the rest of the league better beware. And we're coming.
And this is one season. One season. Do you know what I mean? He took over.
Like little Keegan Point there.
Yeah, he took over. Eddie Howe took over. We don't mention him enough on this channel, actually, Eddie Howe.
No.
Hey, look at that poster there, Keegan. I used to actually have this on my wall when I was a kid,
So did I.
and that one. It's back to those days. It's back to those days. I think we've scored more goals, we've got more points at this point of the season. I think we've got 6 more points that we did in this part of the season than we did in the entertainer season.
Like and you're right, we don't mention Eddie Howe enough, and because he goes under the radar, doesn't he? He just goes along, he does his business, he goes into his press conferences, he doesn't try to be like a Jose Mourinho or an Antonio Conte or a Klopp and try and create waves, because he doesn't need to do that.
Yeah.
He goes onto the training ground, he drills the players, he trains them, he gets the confidence out of them. He believes in them, they believe in him. And as for Tyndall, you sexy bastard, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
He's just kind of the opposite of Eddie Howe in terms of like what he brings on the line. He's the
Yeah,
guy that
he
will
is.
get in the faces of the opponents, and he will get in the other managers, and he'll get in the ear of the fourth official.
I want Tyndall to be my dad and like take us out and like hold me hand and like if any of the big lads look at us, go on then.
Well, I mean, because we're both so good looking, he possibly is.
Yeah,
Both
be.
of our dads,
Yeah.
Si, because we're both handsome as
be.
him.
He
But
probably
yeah,
just boffed once and all his little eggs went fucking mad dog bastard. Yeah, look, there's not much else we can say that people won't know today. Like there's no need for banter, no need for crap. There's no real need to go through it. Everyone, no doubt's watching it again and again and again right now. Everyone's on YouTube watching the replay after replay after replay. That first 20 minutes on loop.
which is exactly what I'm going to start doing again as soon as this finishes.
Same, yeah, I'm gonna
And,
get
and
this
anybody that is watching this, thank you for taking your time to watch us.
Yeah,
because we're just as excited as you are.
hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If we want us to have another match like this, we'll fucking slaughter a team. You have to hit subscribe and like and write a comment. You have to, or you'll jinx it. So you have to do it now. Yeah, but comment your take on it. If there's older people who obviously remember, or might even remember like the last time we won something, comment if this is how it felt. Did it feel like that was coming? Does it feel the same way? Obviously, people under the Keegan era, that's our mine and Kev's era. We know that this is what it was feeling like. But if you're younger than us, if you're in your 20s, if you've only ever witnessed before this, Ashley, if that's all you've ever witnessed, tell us what it's like again to actually have this for the first time, because you won't have had it before. Me and him have had it before, but a long time ago. We're talking 30 years ago or something. But yous have never had it before. What does it feel like? It must feel fucking magical, because it feels magical to us and we're old. But to feel like that in your teens and 20s, I remember it. I remember those days. I remember the key. I remember the buzz around the city, the talk of the schoolyard, everyone wanting to be Andy Cole, Peter Beardsley, Alan Shearer, Les Ferdinand. Like, there was no other teams. It was just Newcastle. And I know it changed over the last couple of decades. Seen lots of Man City shirts floating about and whatnot. Now it is just, let one know what it feels like. If you're a young'un, let one know. Fucking, does it feel like it felt when we were kids? Because I bet you it fucking does. But yeah, Kev, I'm gonna leave it there because we've got highlights to go and rewatch. We will be back again on Tuesday, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, when we go to Goodison Park on Thursday night. For surely, if we get 3 points there and 3 at Southampton, you'd say we've secured Champions League football, wouldn't you?
Jonathan Wood. I'm touching it.
Yeah, got some, yeah. You'd say so, wouldn't you? You'd say so. But anyway, we'll
It's
be
never
back
over till it's over, but it'd put you in a very good position.
It would indeed. And I'm absolutely buzzing. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you again midweek, everyone. Yeah, absolutely belting result. Like, subscribe, comment. Love you all. Up the fucking tune. See you later. Much love.
Come on!